Well, good evening, fans. I have been talking about the next project, and this is it. Basically, what is it? It's a railway, and it occurred to me that what is something that was a little bit of fun, and then for some curious reason I thought, well, we could do a sort of a bit of a Terry Pratchett sort of thing. And so this is the railway which goes from the base of the Ramtops up to Lancre. Now, if you're not a Terry Pratchett fan, you really won't know what I'm talking about. But his world was peopled by, obviously people, but dwarves and all sorts of odd characters, werewolves and Igors. I liked Igors. They were the sort of people who were all sort of stitched together people. Probably not the right thing, but anyway, so let's go through this. What we have here is, oh, sorry about this, but it is 8 o'clock at night, so I'm entitled. I've had a hard day, except I feel tired, but I can't work out what I've done. Now, this is in Fandel again. Very nice. Now, we start here on this level where we will have a station and a town of funny little wriggly houses which are going to tax me building. And this is a narrow gauge railway. This is a point in English or a turnout in American. There you are. Okay. I was going to buy them discounted from a company in Sheffield, and then I went down to our local fella because I thought, you know, much better to shop locally, isn't it? And it was, because I spent £114, and if I'd gone to Sheffield it would cost me £140 plus postage. So there we are. Well, actually it might have been post free, but anyway, that's still quite a considerable difference. So right, here we are. Now, there will be a connection to the outside world on a standard gauge railway coming from Ankh Morpork, which is about 2.5 weeks away, travel-wise. Who knows? Now, we have the station, and then we come up, and because this is a very high mountain, we keep going up around here, and around and around, and this is quite a gradient, somewhere around 1 in 20, which is way beyond what a railway should actually. But I bought this little locomotive, well, it's the chassis of it, and it quite happily went around the curves at 1 in 20, and I thought that's great. So I actually put some carriages behind it, and it just stayed still. So I put a lump of lead on it, cut off this piece of lead here, and it handled it. So I thought, right, okay, so I've got to make a body for this thing to make it look like a train, and then it'll work. So we come up here, and this has got to be widened out to make a passing place, and then it comes up round. Can we see all of this? Yep, I can see my hand anyway. And we come round here, and then there's a bridge across here, and it goes up round, and it goes up across here, and this is Lancre. Lancre is Well, almost everything in Lancre is vertical, and certainly nothing horizontal. So we'll see how we manage to fit that in. I don't know how I'm going to manage to fit it in. I don't know how I should manage to do anything actually, but we will do something. And all of this has to be fitted in with this. Okay, this is foam insulation, which will be stuck in place and probably covered in plastic bandage stuff. I could actually, yeah, plaster bandage. And there will be a lot of this will be in tunnels, so there will be a tunnel mouth here, and there'll certainly be a tunnel mouth here, and a lot of this will be hidden, and then there'll be loads and loads of pine trees which I've got to make. Yeah, that's it. And you have to remember that this is all really built by the dwarves, who are miners and do things like that. And the reason why it's so steep is because dwarves aren't very good at arithmetic, and they managed to persuade them that 1 in 1 wasn't a good idea, and they managed to get them down to 1 in 20, but that was about as shallow a gradient as they could get the dwarves to. They could manage that. And it goes on up here, and eventually, as I say, it will come up here to Lancre, and there'll be the castle, and then you will get a view of the Ramtops beyond. And the one thing you have to worry about is that the dwarves, has anyone seen, well, perhaps you haven't, but on the Welsh quarries, they would come down the railway without an engine, and hopefully they could stop as they came down. And the dwarves do this, except dwarves are not worried about things like brakes, so everybody has to leap out of the way when the dwarves come down with a load of whatever it is they're mining. I'm sure there must be something. I shall have to think what it is. And there we are. So that is the project, and I can't actually show you any track because I should have got some out so you could see it. Well, you've seen one railway track, you've seen the lot really. So there it is. This is the railway to Lancre, and it even has its own song. We have our own corporate image to maintain, and once we start we shall be singing, "Didn't we have a lovely time the day we went to Lancre? A beautiful day, we had lunch on the way, and all for under £1, you know." I think that should be dollars actually, but anyway. And of course lunch would be provided by Mr. Dibbler. You know, you're going to have to get the books and read them so you can understand what this is about. But there it is. One narrow gauge railway, which will gradually wind its way up. The thing about model railways is that, well, I can't say they're silly, because they're not. It's an interesting hobby, and some people, if you go on the internet and look for Everard Junction, they actually build model railways which look exactly like the real thing. I mean, really, seriously, they look like a real railway, and everything is precise at a point in time. I've got a feeling, I can't remember when his point in time is, could be sometime in the 70s. And there's a lot of American ones which are similar. Then there's Thunder Mesa, which is lovely. Colorado type mountains and great big things sticking up and whatever. So that's another sort of thing. And this one, well, it's going to be full of mountains and lots of this and that. And I think that's really about it. I can't think what else I can say, but we will gradually put it all together, and all of this up here will come up. There will be a back scene along 3 sides, quite high here, so that we can actually fill it. Can you see my hand? Oh yes, there it is. You can see where it's going to be. That's it, I think. That's the beginning of it. I don't think we won't be having videos like we did with the other things, because it's probably going to be about 1 video a week, if you're lucky. And even that depends upon how you spell week. Okay, that's it then, folks. I shall play you out with Didn't We Have a Lovely Time? Oh, by the way, there is an original for that, which I think dates from about 1978. 1975 was Steel Eye Span, and I think it's about 78. But there it is. It was Didn't We Have a Lovely Time the day we went to Bangor. But it's suitably refocused. You can find it again on the internet. Fiddler's Dram. The Top of the Pops one is pretty dreadful, but there is one which actually shows a rowing boat, which is a much better version. I think they were a bit overawed by being on Top of the Pops, because they ain't that kind of musicians. There you go. Okay, right, nighty night then.